A young woman uncovered her husband's darkest secret and started gathering evidence against him. By the next morning, she was dead, and the clues she left behind would expose a killer who thought he'd gotten away with everything. On the night of November 30th, 2009, Michael Roberts called his girlfriend and invited her over for dinner. They cooked together, laughed, talked about their future. Later that night, they slept in the same bed. What she didn't know was that just hours earlier, Michael had killed his wife. Her body was still in the garage, wrapped in a blanket, sealed inside trash bags, carried there by the man now setting the dinner table. He felt no panic. He felt no remorse. He moved through that evening with a calm that most people could never imagine. That is who he was. Vicky Roberts was born Victoria Smith in September 1984 in Cheshire, northwest England. She was the younger of two daughters raised in a strict, religious household where faith and tradition shaped everything. She attended a Christian school, studied music, sang in the choir. Everyone who crossed her path used the same words to describe her: gentle, kind, willing to give more than she ever asked for in return. She was the kind of person who showed up for people without being asked, who carried others quietly without making it known. Those qualities made her who she was. They also made her a target. After finishing school, Vicky enrolled in college and took a job at a local IKEA store, determined to support herself without leaning on her parents. She wasn't searching for love. She wasn't looking for anything beyond building her own life steadily and honestly. That is where she encountered Michael Roberts. He was 1 year older, worked in the same place, and made an immediate impression, not entirely a good one. She found him too loud, too forward, too certain of himself. But he was patient in a way she didn't expect, and patience, applied with enough precision, can dissolve almost any resistance. Michael Roberts was born in June 1983 in Warrington. His father was a chemical engineer. The household ran on discipline and expectation, and Michael, as the eldest son, carried most of it. He delivered. He performed well academically, rose naturally in social situations, and moved through every room as though he already owned it. From childhood, his parents had told him he was exceptional, smarter, more capable, simply better than most. For some people, that belief becomes motivation. For Michael, it became something far more dangerous. It became the quiet, unspoken permission he gave himself to treat other people as less than himself. Michael had never sustained a single long-term relationship. He moved between women easily, managing several at once, keeping each one unaware of the others, with a skill that came from long practice. To him, it was a game, and the opening move was always the same. He targeted women who weren't immediately interested, women who kept distance, women who had to be won. Vicky was exactly that. Modest, focused on her studies and her faith, completely unimpressed by him at first. He spent months simply trying to get one date. He brought gifts. He listened. He introduced her to his parents. He performed sincerity flawlessly. Once Vicky let her guard down, the relationship shifted quickly. She had no previous relationship to measure this one against, no frame of reference for what was normal and what was not. So when Michael began pushing boundaries she wasn't comfortable with, when his focus on their private life became something that unsettled her, she said nothing. She absorbed it quietly. She told herself it was part of love, part of adjusting to another person. A friend noticed bruises once and asked questions. Vicky denied everything at first. Later, she admitted pieces of the truth. But the full truth stayed locked inside her, held there by love and by shame. When Vicky discovered she was pregnant, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Genuine hope. She believed this was the moment everything would shift. The wedding had already been delayed far longer than she had wanted. But a baby, a family, something undeniable. Surely this would make him choose her. Michael's reaction was immediate anger. He demanded she end the pregnancy. When she refused, he didn't argue louder. He got quieter and more precise. He used her religious upbringing against her. He reminded her what her parents would think. He promised a proper family after the wedding. She gave in. She lost the pregnancy to complications. He responded with irritation, not compassion. Not one moment of care. The wedding finally happened, not because Michael had changed, but because his parents adored Vicky, and he could not bring himself to disappoint them. The ceremony was lavish. A white dress, a limousine, an outdoor celebration that looked, from every angle, exactly like happiness. Guests raised their glasses. Photographs captured two people who appeared to be beginning something real. Vicky allowed herself, just for that day, to believe it might be true. That the formality of it all might mean something to a man who had never treated commitment as anything but an obstacle. It meant nothing. He was already planning his next move before the reception ended. Vicky found the evidence she had been dreading on his work laptop. He had forgotten to log out. A new woman. Full conversations. Declarations of love. Claims that the divorce was filed. That he was already living elsewhere. She didn't wake him. She didn't break down. She opened her own laptop and took screenshots of everything. She went through his wallet and found the hotel receipts, multiple dates, multiple locations. She built a record with her own hands in the middle of the night while he slept. The next morning, she laid it all in front of him. She told him she was going to his parents. He picked up a jewelry box and struck her twice in the head. When she fell, he did not stop. The investigation unraveled his story quietly and completely. Vicky's laptop held the screenshots she had saved. Her own careful documentation handed to the detectives who needed it most. Her phone's geolocation data showed it had never left the house. Officers returned, searched the garage, and found her. Michael fled, reached out to yet another woman for shelter, and was turned in that same evening when she saw the news. In custody, he claimed accident. Forensics proved otherwise. The injuries told the true sequence. Blows first, strangulation after. Deliberate. The trial began in January 2010. He was found guilty, sentenced to life. Parole possible after 17 years. Vicky Roberts was 25 years old. She had saved the evidence that convicted him. She deserves to be remembered for that.